year 2025. We want to thank you for renewing the commitment of always gluing to Canada International on Saturday to watch 360 degrees. And today we are talking the roadmap of President Paul Biya in 2025. As you all know, on the 31st of December 2024, he addressed the nation again, coming back to some key issues. And he reiterated the strides the government is making in the provision of basic facilities. He equally acknowledged the dwindling socio-economic situation of Cameroon. Equally, the rising crimes in the urban centers of the country, as well as the poorer states of the road. President Paul Biya, in his speech, equally made a number of promises. One of them, he announced the construction of 360 solar plants in administrative units that are not yet electrified. And then he equally announced the recruitment of some 9,944 health workers in 5 years. And that will constitute a package of discussion today as we look into the real content, the feasibility of all that he announced, as well as reviewing the commitment of government to deliver, not forgetting equally the 2025 presidential elections, where the head of state was very clear that there should be peace before, during, and after the elections. Stay with us. You're welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is 360 Degrees, and we are beaming live from the economic capital here in Douala. This is the very first edition for the year 2025, as we hope to commune with you for the next 1 hour. And just to say, as we shall be beginning the discussions here in the studio, you shall have numbers on the screen that you can equally contribute to our talking point of today. We go straight to welcome our guests. I have 4 gentlemen in the studio. It's a pleasure to start the year with these 4 gentlemen. I begin from my right, where I have Mr. Mbianang Chrysanthos. I hope I got Mbianang very well. It's always kind of troublesome. Mbianang Chrysanthos is a politician, and he militates with the Social Democratic Front. Happy New Year, Mr. Mbianang.
Happy New Year, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Canada International in this 2025. I'm very happy to be part of this debate.
Thank you so much. And by him is Mr. Ndium Emmanuel. Mr. Ndium Emmanuel is a civil society actor based here in Douala. He has been here several times, and I'm happy you renewed your confidence again with us as the year is starting. Mr. Ndium, you're welcome.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. Happy New Year to all the viewers of Canada International. Permit me to start the program by quoting this young man, this young Cameroonian, who has been doing everything humanly possible to make sure that change comes to Cameroon. Not through bloodshed, not through the barrels of the gun, not through uprising, but through the votes that everybody is going to cast. That is Fabrice Lena, and I quote, the year 2024 is a turning point for us to rewrite the history of Cameroon. The year to take our country from inept and neo-colonialist. We are all at the elastic limit of patience. What caught my attention from that publication was our elastic limit of patience. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Just to correct, 2025.
2025.
Yes. Thank you so much. And on the left, I'm privileged to have Dr. Ako John. Dr. Ako John is a political analyst based here in Douala. Doc, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Saint, and to many of thousands of, if not millions of Canal to International. Once more again to start the year, it is a pleasure to be on this particular platform, and Cameroonians heavily waiting for 2025, a year pregnant in politics, economic, socio-cultural issues. And again, for Cameroonians to know that the head of state equally mentioned that there will be regional elections, something which many are not talking about. So more of Cameroonians, or many of them, thinking that we have only presidential election, but the head of state let us know there will be regional elections this same year.
Sure.
And so what are we waiting? Cameroonians, patiently, we say change. Change is here and change is now. And that change should start with registration in the voters' register. That is what we are going to start as of next week. That's why I take my agenda with the Association of Civil Society for Sustainable Development. We're going to start back, and many Cameroonians need to join on this move. Thank you so much. Our fourth guest on the set today, he's been here too several times, and we are happy to have him here again. Mr. Keja Robert, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Happy New Year to my co-panelists, and a Happy New Year to all Cameroonians that have taken their time to sit in front of their TV set as we'll be analyzing current issues happening in our nation. Special greetings to Robert Sintabenchong, the mayor of Manfe, and of course Chenwe Peter, one of the mayors there in Bamenda, that are doing a good job, and they are all young. You know, at times it's good for us to appreciate young people that are doing a good job, so that our elders that are there in power will know that us, the youths, we can do more better.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, we'll set the pace by revisiting some of the key elements of the head of state's declaration or address to the nation on the 31st. And after that, we'll equally get a report on the reactions of some few Cameroonians after that here in Douala.
In Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, President Paul Biya's New Year address has sparked diverse.
I have also noted that the reconstruction of the northwest and southwest regions is progressing, despite the atrocities being committed by some armed gangs which continue to target mainly the civilian population. It can never be overemphasized that the separatist cause championed by these purportedly enlightened beings is doomed to failure. Cameroon will remain one and indivisible. Such is the wish of the overwhelming majority of our compatriots. This is the very essence of the mandate given to me, and I will never fail to deliver it. My dear compatriots, you know my attachment to national unity, progress, and peace. You are witnesses of the action the government has been taking for years under my leadership to bring an end to this security crisis that is undermining the development of these regions and plunging many families into mourning. I take this opportunity to remind the members of this armed band that the nation is still reaching out to them. I urge them once again to take up the offer of peace that has been made to them and to lay down their weapons. Hundreds of their comrades have already joined the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration centers and have been trained in different trades for their easy social integration. The fate of the die-hard warmongers is unenviable. They will be relentlessly tracked down and will inevitably answer for their crimes.
In Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, President Paul Biya's New Year address has sparked diverse opinions. Many residents welcome his call for peace and stability, particularly ahead of the upcoming elections. I appreciated his speech, but because if he could do a recap of 2024 and preach about peace for 2025, then all I can say is that he is a good leader. who gave a good speech. I didn't listen to his speech, but from what I got on social media, I heard he emphasized on the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions and called on separatists to drop their arms, which according to me is a good initiative. However, not everyone shared this optimism. Many criticized the president for what they perceived as a lack of immediate solutions to the rising cost of living. We are not satisfied. The average man suffers a lot, be it nutrition, exportation, everything is expensive. Others dismissed the address entirely, claiming it lacked relevance to their daily realities. I preferred to enjoy my end-of-year festivity than to listen to his speech because I told myself he would say the same words, which won't change anything. The mixed reactions highlight the divide between hope for progress and skepticism about the government's ability to deliver tangible results. As the nation enters 2025, citizens in Douala remain divided on whether the president's promises will translate into action.
We want to thank Saleh Sherifa for those elements on the presidential address to Cameroonians ahead of this year, 2025. Dr. Akko John, you just listened to these key elements here. You equally listened to the entire address on the 31st. Before we get into the different elements in that address, what is your general appraisal of that outing?
Somewhere we'll say President Pobia simply respected the protocol of 31st December, a rendezvous that all Cameroonians were waiting, that no matter whatever circumstances he's supposed to present a word or two to the nation. But then, as a tradition holds, what did he do? He simply revised the activities of the year, and a lot of those ambitions that Cameroonians are waiting, one could see that very little in terms of changes should be done. Instead, I praise his government that they are doing relatively very well. You remember he gave statistics of how many kilometers of roads have been done and how many kilometers of road had been renovated, which means somewhere we might not be expecting something too new. And to give us that idea, the year is pregnant with elections, like we said. He equally called to Cameroonians that there will be elections in 2025, and Cameroonians should wait to do that or carry out those activities in a modern style, that peace before, during, and after, which is a general call to all electoral processes, and even the United Nations know that it is a binding rule. At times, some politicians are even called to sign papers to maintain this peace, as it happens in other regions. But Cameroon being the state that it is, and the head of state equally mentioned that Cameroon remains a state of democracy. The democracy we are saying would have reached equally the head of state to tell us that his enemies in prison should be released this year or will be released as we prepare for the same election, because we have politicians too who are in prison, and we're expecting that such politicians who are equally clamoring, they are not enemies to the nation, but otherwise the friends to the nation, that when Rome was constructed, it was not only constructed by those who hailed the king, but even those who wrote letters and even criticized the king. So when we see people like Machiavelli today, highly celebrated in their write-ups, they were not writing to glorify the rulers, but to advise rulers and tell them what is supposed to be done. So somewhere, the head of state traditionally greeted Cameroonians, saluting his effort, and many knowing that he's still a candidate for 2025. He did not denounce that, which means we are preparing to equally vote either for or against Paul Biya comes presidential election. So he told Cameroonians that he is staying fast to the renewed confidence that Cameroonians have given to him. Yes, there is a lot of that, which means that some of us know that, okay, if the elections passes this year, President Paul Biya will be 99 years when he'll be leaving or going in for another term of office, comes maybe 7 years' time.
Okay, we shall get to Mr. Mbianang.
Yes,
what positive stuff do you pick out from that presidential address to the nation?
Well, we talk the positive stuff, it is normal. that I should talk, but the only positive note that I had from his speech was the acknowledgement of the different challenges that the country is facing. And then he talked about the economic resilience. Yeah. So that is where I can say he was objective, though very, very shallow, because he did not give us statistics to substantiate his assertion.
Yeah, I think he gave us statistics telling us that our economic growth at the moment stands at 3.8, and the projection might get to 4.1 in this 2025.
Well, we will talk of our economic growth. It's something. It's not something practical. We cannot see it because I'm a businessman. Yeah. When I look at my sales, my purchases, my year ended negatively. Okay. We don't have any source of supplies. New taxes have been voted to weigh still on the economic operators. No, even talk of industries that were created. Where are they? When we talk of the production, the industrialization of our economy, he talked of 2,500 jobs that were created through the transformation of this thing at Cribby. So I don't know. It is good to see, but my main problem here today is to make Cameroonians to understand that despite the determination of the head of state to say he has to go on for another 7 years, it is honestly speaking.
Anyway, he didn't officially say he was going in for the next 7 years. So we shall get to that. We shall get to that. Thank you so much, Jaume Emmanuel. When you listen to the address of the head of state to the nation on that 31st, the address and the nation, do you see the reflection?
The first thing we should note is the fact that after widespread rumors that the president was not alive, he once more presented himself officially to the state of Cameroon, and that's a positive remark. Yes. That reassures the Cameroonians that President Biya is still alive.
And still very much in charge.
Very much in charge. He's still the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
He's still the commander-in-chief. However, when I listened to his speech, it was not very reassuring. It was more of humor, you know. When I got statements like, since I ascended into the state magistracy, the living conditions of Cameroonians has been the focus, has been the center of my focus. I laugh. It sounds humorous because we all know what Cameroonians are going through. However, like I said, it was once again an opportunity in which many Cameroonians expected President Biya to actually present an apology to Cameroonians and resign.
Why? Yes. Why an apology?
No, it was a time for him to apologize to Cameroonians and no, I have been failing. And honestly, God has blessed me. I have divine and human favor. But this time, it is good I respect the divine favor and I respect God to give way. Because honestly, nothing is working in Cameroon. And I want to buy the idea of those who think that President Biya has been talking to Cameroonians, but he has not given Cameroonians the opportunity to talk to him. Because he talks to us every 31st, and we listen to him. We take off time to listen. But we talk to him for 366 days or 365 days. He doesn't listen to us. Which means that the communication between him as a leader and those he's leading is not flowing.
Are you not seeing that at some point where there are massive criticisms, he takes some drastic measures?
No, the last I heard from Mr. Biya was last 31st December. That was 2023.
He spoke on the 10th of February.
No, I did not follow. No, I cannot. And I only listened to him again this time around because I was hoping that given his age, he has served Cameroon in his own way. He was going to make Cameroonians smile by telling them that he was going to rest in Vomeka, at least for his age and the services he has offered Cameroonians.
Okay, shall we coming back to you, Keja? How did you perceive that message from the head of state, father of the nation, to Cameroonians as 2025 is beginning?
It was a positive one.
Okay.
And what I appreciate most has to do with the fact that he says he will engage in unemployment of over 9,000 youth, especially in the medical field, where we have been experiencing a lot of brain transfer, as many of our youths now go to Canada, after training as nurse. So he has engaged so that he can keep our youths, so that they can have jobs and do something good at the level of the nation. As a youth, that's what touched my mind, because many youths are in difficulty. I understand that the issue of unemployment is a global issue and it's a problem in Africa, but him engaging, especially in this domain where many of our youths are going out, is something that I appreciate so much. Secondly, he also talked about the mining projects around the Lube, the iron ore and the rest. I appreciate that too, because that is a project that when fully executed, it will create a lot of jobs directly and indirectly for the Cameroonian youth, which really, if the youth have these jobs, they will participate in the economic growth of the nation. And of course, this will increase the GDP of the nation. So I was very happy with such project that the head of state, the president of the republic, talked about. And most importantly, he continued with his amnesty that he has given to youths in the Northwest and Southwest that have picked up arms against the state. He still opened up that amnesty and still gave them that freedom that drop your arms, will forgive you even with the number of people you have killed. Many people may laugh over that or may not see it importantly, but I will take this opportunity to plead with the family that these separatist members too have killed, because some of them, they want justice. And when they hear that they will drop their arms and receive benefit from the amnesty of the President of the Republic, many of them are angry. I will tell them that we are at the way of peace. They should learn to forgive so that we can build a better nation. And also to tell those that are still in the bushes that they should adhere to the speech of the head of state and drop their arms. If I give the total number of those that died in 2022, if they could have dropped their arms, or those that died in 2023, if they could have dropped their arms, or the number of separatists that died in 2024, if they could have dropped their arms, those are youths that would need them in the Northwest and Southwest to boost our economy. I pray that those that are still in the bushes will definitely drop their arms for the reconstruction of our region and our nation.
Thank you so much, Keja. Doc, at the beginning of his speech, President Paul Biya came back to the fact that this mandate that is to get to an end was made to be a decisive mandate for Cameroonians. As political analysts, when you look at Cameroon, and then we look at the mandate, which is barely, I think, 10 months to get to an end, how decisive has this mandate been?
Yeah, that is why I said at the very beginning of my speech that President Paul Biya has the opportunity to write beautiful speeches, but his speeches have never been met with actions. I'm telling you sincerely that if we are here today talking about the head of state, Mr. Ndiwema well mentioned, and you could call back national days, meaning the head of state present to Cameroonians a statement on the 31st and the 10th of April. Out of February. 10th of February. Out of the 365 days of a year. This is not leadership. And he even said he was called upon this leadership, that his preoccupation has been the well-being of Cameroonians. To what extent? We are talking of the deaths of people at La Falaise in Cham. We are talking of thousands or hundreds of the flood which he mentioned in the north. We are talking of the Anglophone parents and children who have not been going to school officially. How many times have the head of state taken to address these issues directly to the families which are victims? As we are talking here now, the president-elect of the United States, Donald Trump, is near every 48 hours he's in front of the press. Joe Biden is in front of the press nearly at least once a week to tell Americans what they are expecting and what he's going to do. What becomes our own president, that silence is part of governance. We have never seen that. Some people have even defended thesis that la silence présidentielle. Can you imagine? Meaning an instrument where you are called to be the leader, where you are supposed to be the champion, where you are supposed to review government actions. We waited to this level of the Secretary General at the level of national security to move from Yaoundé to Mutegene to inform the head of state that the roads were not good. And that is why he took upon that in his speech, because he was informed. And now he's talking about Yaoundé, Limbe, Etina.
And not to cut you, just to indicate that the Yaoundé, Douala Yaoundé potholes have been filled.
Yes, so immediately after that speech. So you expect to be ruled by a security agent in the same government which you are leading. There are members who are technocrats in civil engineering and road maintenance. They are unable to give you information. Some people equally claim, like you mentioned, that for lack of funding, that lack of funding for a road which you have in your project, the moment you present a project, there is already a source for the revenue to complete the project. So what has been happening with the finance bill of all these years? Like some people ask, what happened with the law, the money we voted for that project last 2 years, last 3 years, and this year the same amount is made for the same project? What does it mean that the head of state in himself is not a stock taker of the republic? Because if you're a stock taker, honestly, you mentioned water and light every year. Okay. How better is light in Douala? I mean the city, that one may say, needs light the most. And we know that light is the main economic push factor. That when light is not stable, economic activities are down. Hotels cannot work, markets cannot work, refineries are, industries cannot produce, a lot of shutdown. How have you guaranteed Cameroonians this light? 42 years, please, 42 years in power. There are still villages without light in the government of the new deal.
Thank you so much, Doc. And talking about light, water and other basic facilities, the head of state, Mr. Mbiana, equally made mention of the fact that government is making efforts, but then the growing population is somehow a hindrance, whilst we feel that some of these things are insufficient.
Okay.
When you begin by laughing.
My laugh goes to illustrate where our head of state abandoned the roadmap that was handed over to him in 1982 and chose his own path. Because in the First Republic, President Aidjo had what he called Plan Canal, 5 years development plan. And these plans were swept aside by Mr. Abia. We're just moving from left and right. We don't have any direction. So it is not surprising because Mr. Aidjo told him that in the next 20 years, Cameroon must have a population of 40 million. These are the projects to carry. Execute this project in the lower areas to maintain population within the lower areas, then don't come to the cities. Okay? Now, even the cities cannot contain them. They are dying in the Mediterranean. The few that succeed, they find themselves in Canada, they find themselves in the United States. The few that are in the country, when you talk of improving our living conditions, I'm very, very sick because it is not official.
When you say it's not official,
it's not official. Go around. The price of liquor has not been increased, but go to every off-license around the town. Everybody says at his own price. At least 50 francs has been added on a bottle. 150. I said at least 50 francs has been added on a bottle, but it's not official. But the government is telling us that they have done everything possible to maintain, to control inflation. I don't understand. So look at the basic social amenities. When we talk of the health services, he talked about it shallowly. He did not go deep because as a leader, tell us that in the health department, this is what is lacking. This is the solution. It's not enough to just give us.
The first thing that is lacking are the personnel, and that is why he is planning to recruit 9,944.
In 5 years.
In 5 years. That's about 1,980.
He would have employed them from now to October for his mandate because they're sure to be the next president. So I mean to say, politically, we don't talk, we need to talk. He's an old politician.
I think administration continues. Even if he's not the next president, the next person will continue with the plan.
Are you sure if I win, my priority will be that? My priority will not be that, because there are certain things in the health sector that are more important than recruiting the health person that don't have the services, the equipment to work.
Okay, Ms. Anjiwum, as part of the solution, he said there's going to be the planting of 3,600 solar plants at administrative areas where there is no electricity. That should be good news.
Listen very well.
Yes.
We have the mention 4 in northwest region of Cameroon, which has been proven by scientifically that if harnessed alone can be able to supply electricity to Cameroon without failure and to the neighboring countries. What has been stopping Mr. Abia and his government from harnessing this particular fall? Look, what you are just asking corroborates the sloganeering government that we have been having for 42 years. Because we have been governed by slogans for 42 years. This is part of the rhetorics that goes with our topic of the day. We get rhetorics every day. At the end, we never get to the realities of things. This is propaganda coming from the president himself. It is sad. It is complicated. It is propaganda because we have been getting all of this. End of year speech, as many people define in Cameroon, is a day when the president comes out again. Some say he tells lies. Some say he convinced the people. In other words,
the president does not lie.
Well, he's not Christ after all. He's a human like you and I. He can be bound to lie at one point. And because it is in politics. In politics, there's no truth. I'm talking side by side with an SDF politician. He will agree that even the SDF that are dwindling today, they tell a lot of lies. In politics, there are lies that must be told at particular points to live on. I am telling you. And when the president comes out giving promises that will never be realized, Cameroonians are aware. We are not dumb and deaf. We know. Just like last year, let me just quote you an example. The president said last year, those who have played with the fortunes of the nation in the context of the COVID gate and camp gate were going to respond to the rule of law. Till date, he tactically avoided that topic this year. He brought it down. That's why I said there was a lot of humor. Humor in his speech. Because he took words that could avoid open Cameroonians to reason fast that he was lying. And he brought in another term that, but what Cameroonians expected were statistics that, look, last year, this minister who was in charge of this was indexed for COVID gate. This is where he is today. He's responding to justice. This one, candidate, is responding to justice. And Cameroonians are aware. Cameroonians are suffering. But the fear of the unknown is what has held them spellbound from not speaking out. Cameroonians are aware. They know. They know that it's not working. They know that this government in place is obsolete. It's not working. It has not been delivering. If you were to read what the president announced in terms of employment last year, between last 31st and this 31st, you cannot give up to 3.5/20 in terms of realization. Because if you look at the youths that left Cameroon in 2023, that is out of the country in search of gainful employment, comparing to the ones that left this year, the ones this year were eating more than those who left in 2023, which means that he has been failing.
Thank you so much. If you are watching, you can equally contribute to our talking point. Like I said, the number on your screen, WhatsApp and SMS only. Please do not call. Make your messages short and straight to the point so that we'll be able to take them here. Kedia, we are talking water, we are talking electricity. Are we making progress?
Yes. Last year, the head of state talked about production of electricity. And he cited the various dams that the government has invested
the Lompanga,
in them, the Lompanga
the Natigal Dam.
And now, in his last speech, he talked about the connection, transportation, because we should know that the state produces Sonatrach transport, and NAU is a commercial agent. So with the production of energy, he talked about it, and now we are at the phase of transportation, and he made it very specific in his speech, the interconnection of the south and the interconnection of the north, which is going on. And even before his speech, the Minister of Water and Energy had made it clear that by the 30th of this month, that connection and transportation phase will come to an end. So the problem is many Cameroonians don't know the difference between producing the dams and the transportation of the energy. So that's why
the common Cameroonian who lives in Douala.
That's why the president
who doesn't know the scientific, all those scientific methods you are trying to cite. Who is more concerned with the fact that today I own the light in my house, there is light, and then tomorrow there is no light?
The head of state talked about the connection and to assure them that they will have that electricity supply. We also have the issue of drinkable water, which the head of state talked about 8,000 homes that will benefit from drinking water. I will take this opportunity to appreciate the people of Northwest and the Southwest with their idea of community water that have been of great help. And I think other regions should learn from that, why the state also is doing enough. I know many people say we voted the state, they are using our taxpayer, but they should understand that the job is being done together. Now, talking about the issue of corruption, I remember very well the head of state, President of the Republic, in his last speech talked about the fight of corruption. But I don't remember the head of state saying that the fight of corruption based on Can Gate and what other gate. He did not talk about that. So it would be false if we say the head of state talks specifically about this and that. He did not talk about that. So the head of state did not talk about that. We are talking about the head of state, the President of the Republic. So I'm specific. He did not talk about that, but he assured Cameroonians that those that have siphoned state fund definitely will answer to the Department of Justice. And the issue is that CONAC, with the help of the Department of Justice, have recovered more than 14 billion this year. So I should say that promises of the head of state actually was implemented. And so Cameroon recovered 14 billion from corruption.
Is it not normal that when money is recovered from corruption, the concern should be made known to Cameroonians?
Of course, the informations of CONAC and the rest is there. You are a journalist. You will not tell me you are ignorant. Annually, they publish everything.
I covered the presentation of the annual report of CONAC. So, but what I'm asking is not in the report.
Thank God you covered it. You are a very big journalist, and you know the amount of money that they have been recovering.
Talking about money, I am aware. But
now, what we should know is that CONAC is an institution that is under the head of state,
of course,
and that is under the executive arm of government. When they have their report, they send it to the judicial arm of government, because there is an independent of the various arm of government, which all of us we know. If today the head of state, President of the Republic, intervene into the judicial arm of government, we will still be the first people to come out and say the arm of there is no respect, there is no division of the arm of government. When he passed now the document to the arm of government and decide to wait, it still becomes a problem. What do Cameroonians want the head of state to do? When we talk about the investigation with regards to COVID and the rest, those documents have been sent to the Department of Justice, and the executive arm of government does not have the authority to intervene into the time of judiciary. That is what I think all of us here will agree, that there is division of the various arm of government.
Okay, thank you, Keja.
No, please, I want to make now. Yes, Keja is gearing into legality, maybe, or judiciary when he has little knowledge on how Cameroon functions. Those reports have been presented to the head of state, waiting for decisions.
Okay.
Thank you so much. The head of state is not a member of the judiciary. He has sent it to the right quarter. That's what I'm saying.
He's not the head. You have not heard of the Supreme Magistracy
We have the judicial arm of government. We have the judicial arm of government. And we should know that
the one that awards and dismisses judges.
Okay, Doc. Okay, Doc. Let's move ahead. Please.
It's very simple.
There is division of arm of government.
Let's move ahead.
And some people are saying that there is no division of arm of government.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
It's on paper or it doesn't exist.
Keja, I get your point. Please, Keja, I get your point. Doc, when the president says the current state of our urban and inter-urban road does not reflect government's effort, what meaning do you make from that statement?
That's indirectly telling you that even himself, who is head of government, does not know what is going on.
Okay.
I said it at the beginning. He waited for Bangangele to come and give him information that roads are not good.
Okay.
And the same statement, remember that same statement, he's taking it still from Bangangele. That when the head of state votes you and gives you the mandate, is to assist him in the task. And that looking at that road, some individuals are not there to assist the head of state. Okay. That's indirectly telling you. Okay. And which means President Paul Biya there is what we call proactive governance. We don't wait for roads to get destroyed. When a road is built, there is a lifespan given to that road. And we know already, the moment you see a pothole on a particular trench of road, know that the expiration of that particular trench is in difficulties. Okay. And what do you do? A government that is waiting, in many advanced nations, that particular potholes is just fixed the next day. Because degrading of road starts as a rotten egg or a rotten fish. It starts from the tail, and before you know it, the head is all consumed. That's how road works. So the moment we allow a single pothole without a quick decision, this will tell you too that Cameroonians have become very biased. At one point, those who call contractors and those who award and those who supervise are the ones causing the highest havoc on our roads. How do you explain? I'm talking of this carrefour we have at the airport. When you are at Saint-Michel, you are going to the airport. They have maintained that carrefour over 3 times. That road is not up to 4 years old. But every time you go there, it's like we don't know the quantity or the composition of the tar to use. That road is continuously broken. So what has happened? When you go to substandard materials, it's like the engineers in Cameroon don't even know the mixture of tar. Because without being in an engineering school, I know that when you are around the carrefours, the concentration of tar and mixture should be different when you are on a running trench. Because cars don't station on a running trench. So how does it come that all the carrefours, likewise carrefour ship, where SDP is found, the only rescuer that we get for Bave to help us. Otherwise, every time they fix a pothole there, 2 weeks after it is broken. So I ask myself, is that the same system with other advanced nations? So why are tars in advanced nations not broken? Somewhere, tar comes out as if it is bread soaked in water. Somewhere it is. I mean, it is shocking that engineers at the 21st century don't know the composition of tars and that all the carrefours in Cameroon have problems. Okay. What is the problem? It is not clear. You might not equally blame the head of state, but those who execute contracts must. In other regions like India and China, you might be caught and assassinated for stealing or misusing state energy and properties. Yes.
Thank you so much. Ms. Ambiana, you wanted to react. Let me give you the time now to react.
On the state of the roads.
The state of the road and what Keja was saying.
Okay, let me come back to what my land colleague was just saying concerning the separation of power, especially in the judicial department. I believe Cameroon is a whole continent in the world where things that exist in Cameroon do not exist in any other country in the world. First and foremost, the president is the head of the armed forces. He presides over the Supreme Magistrate. That means when at the end of it's more than 5 years, they have not met because the president has no time to go there. So if Mr. Keja tells us that he cannot intervene, he's one who appoints them. I don't know what he's saying, but it may seem that if we did not attend the same schools or did not undergo the same education, then when we come to the nature of our the declaration of the president concerning the nature of our road, that our resources invested in road construction, the nature of our road does not reflect the effort that the government has put in place. Now, it is the same thing I've told you that these are the consequences of his abandonment of the road map that was handed to him by Mr. Aiju. Because right back when I was still in primary school, when I used to go to Boya, there was this department of road maintenance at the level of every province. It was not a matter of Yaoundé.
Okay.
I was very, very surprised when the president of the talk about pavement. I'm arresting at Makepe Misoke. The small 2 kilometers road from Ancre Chefferie to Pont Cassé. It is the Prime Minister, the Minister, Ngano Jumisi, who came and laid the foundation stone to put pavement. And he came with more than 50 cars. Okay. Just the cost of the minister living Yaoundé to come and lay the foundation stone is more than the cost of realizing the project.
Okay.
I don't understand what is the role of the city mayor or the mayor of the subdivision. We have even the regional assembly. What are the own rules that the listing to fill a pothole on the road you must go to Yaoundé and take permission? So I don't understand. Okay. When we talk of decentralization, we don't want to decentralize. Now I don't understand. Okay. The problem is our head of state is the problem of our nation. Accusing his collaborators is a far-fetched statement because he is free to move and inspect all the state project that have been executed in the Republic. Okay, he has chosen not to go because he has decided to delegate his presidential function. Okay. Okay. So that's why you see sur les instructions partout on le sait là où nous sommes.
Okay. Donc, before I come to you, we have a series of messages. Let's just take this one. The issue in Cameroon is that we want to politicize everything, including water, light, electricity, etc. If Cameroon must advance, the leaders must put aside their selfish reasons and take the interests of people at heart. That is coming from Prophet Golof. Ms. Anjiwum, I will just read this statement and then we continue from there. Yes. I can assure you that my resolve to serve you remains steadfast and grows stronger by the day as we address the immense challenges facing us.
From that statement, many Cameroonians develop stomach ulcer that night.
What?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
A lot. That is, somebody will ask you, what are the statistics that you gathered to say what you are about to say? If not 99% of Cameroonians want President Biya out of the presidential office, let's be sincere. What is making most of them to speak with a lot of water in their mouth is, he succeeded in making unemployment a livelihood in Cameroon.
What do you mean by that?
Which has imprisoned many youths, it has absorbed their brains. They need to speak to get some crumbs, something to eat. And for that reason, they need to consistently and repeatedly sing praises to Mr. Biya. Deep in their mind, they know that it is not well. That's one. Okay. Two, there is an age that certain functions cannot work without age. Like Dr. Ako said there a while ago, when you look at Trump, that every 48 hours he's before the press, it's because his energy is still vital enough to take him to the press, our president. It is the virtue of nature. One day you and I, if God permits, will attain that age. My grandfather, at 83 now, not even close to the president, is unable to go to where he used to go 10 years ago. Then one more of the president who carries the entire nation on his head. Social problems, economic problems, political problems, everything. Family problems, friends problems. Okay. By every logic, Cameroonians know that the president's time to go and rest. We can use him as an advisor at this time. And I think Cameroonians hate Mr. Biya. That we would have loved so much to stay further, to see a next Cameroon in the hands of another man. Because if you cannot compare two things, you will not know which one was the best. What happens if he drops today and another person becomes the worst? It will give us an opportunity to compare and write history about Mr. Biya and the person who has taken over. But before you take the microphone, I don't agree with Dr. Ako when he says, when you go blaming the contractors. When you live in a country where building a school in Misaje, building a primary school toilet in Achan, in Konene, orders need to come from the presidency. When the building of that toilet fails, blame the presidency. If you give a contract to people and you don't do a follow-up, you don't do an effective follow-up to see if the realization is done, you should be blamed. Okay. People always joke, in a house where the father is a drunkard and only comes back very late in the night. He doesn't know the activities of his children. If a child goes out and steals, let the father be blamed because the father is never present in the house to control the activities of the children.
But that's not the case with the president. He's there in the house.
No,
which house?
Which house?
Cameroon as a house.
Telling you, no.
Yes.
No, I am saying that.
Do you see the president?
The analysis of Dr. Ako at that point I don't agree with them.
Okay.
The contractors are playing because they know that those who are supposed to watch over them are sleeping.
Okay, thank you.
And those who are supposed to watch over you are sleeping, you can sneak in and sneak out at any time, and nothing happens.
Okay, we'll take one other message again. There are many. The living standards of Cameroonians is poor, so that responsibility, which he claims is a failure as a result of so many factors, especially inflation, poor road infrastructure, poor health facilities, huge embezzlement, just to mention a few. I think the person did not sign. Keja, you heard the statement I read here. And by this statement, we saw some people already declaring on your social media handles that President Pobia has openly said he's going in for 2025 again. Do you interpret this statement as those who are already celebrating?
We're in democracy and the opinion of everybody is respected. But according to the Constitution of Cameroon and all other constitutions in the world, there is a minimum age, but I don't know of any constitution that has the maximum age that after you cannot go in for an election. So it means that all the 190-something countries are okay, no matter your age, when you are not a minor. Secondly, the constitution of the law of the CPDM permits the chairman of the party to be presidential candidate naturally. And talking about the head of state himself, the president of the republic, he was clear. At the end of his mandate, he would decide if he will go back to the village or he will remain, or he will continue and go in for another mandate. So that is the decision of the head of state. But all I want Cameroonians to know is that with regards to the law of the land and with regards to the law that governs the CPDM political party, he has that legitimacy and that right as a citizen to participate in any election. Then there is one issue also my co-panelist spoke about. The President of the Republic was very honest. We have the problem with regards to roads. And he was open to say it. You know, the end of year speech of the President is the one that he talks about his achievement, he talks about the difficulty he faced, and he talks about the prospect, what he will do the next year. And he was open to talk about the difficulty he faced. Any government has a difficulty. It is so sad that in a country like Cameroon, when a minister leaves Yaoundé to come and inaugurate a project, militants of the opposition party, they don't try to know how many kilometers of roads is being constructed. They don't try to know how much the budget was, but instead they were interested in counting the names of cars that were coming to say it was more than 50. I just imagine when they become, when they get to power, they'll be counting but all the cars in Douala rather than ensuring that there is development. That is an issue, and it was very clear, and I believe that the ministers that are in those positions, urban development and public work, will definitely stand up. We should be honest, this criticism has been done by many. It's not the first time. Senator Mbela Mokicha has talked about it. The former city delegate of Yaoundé spoke about it. The president has talked about it, so it's not a problem. And to conclude, I just want to say that Cameroonians should know the difference between unemployment and underemployment. They should know the rate of unemployment.
Which one are we facing?
Of course, we are facing the problem of underemployment.
My brother.
That's his view. Eh? You can, maybe before I take the mic from you, what is your, just briefly, what is your take on opposition leaders who also address the nation at the end of the year? Just briefly.
I didn't have time to listen to most of them, but I had the opportunity to read what Mr. Akeremuna wrote. And His presentation is someone that I can say he has some positive ideas, which I believe that he should work with the head of state, the President of the Republic, as his father, Estimona, has always wished that he accompany the President Paul Biya in his major achievement.
Thank you, KJ. Gentlemen, before we come back and conclude, let's just take a report on the different opposition leaders that were equally talking to Cameroonians on the 31st of December 2024.
Addressing their militants, sympathizers, and the population at large, these opposition political leaders, SDF Joshua Ossi, PCRN Cabral Libby, and CRM Maurice Kamto's picture is of a crumbling Cameroon.
With a continuous rise in the price of basic foodstuff on the market, making the cost of living unbearable for our people, especially the poorest and most vulnerable.
The ongoing conflicts in the northwest, southwest, and far north regions weigh heavily on our national conscience. In all, over 900,000 displaced citizens, countless lives disrupted, communities torn apart. This is the price of failed leadership.
Their presence, they say, is indication that hope is not lost. So desire to see a new president to completely change Cameroon.
No one should feel threatened by the change through democratic alternation that the people of our 10 regions are calling for.
As the electoral register reopens on January 2nd, remember that your participation is more than a civic duty. It is your power to write the next chapter of our nation's story.
The upcoming presidential elections, that opportunity, their measures in that light clearly spelled out.
Nous allons doter chaque commune d'un camion 4x4 à haute suspension. Son travail sera d'aider nos agriculteurs à transporter leurs produits vivriers des champs jusque dans les marchés.
As we enter 2025, we carry forward not just hope, but determination. Together, we will build a Cameroon where every voice matters.
The future is opening up to us. Let's seize it.
They believe a level ground, peaceful political climate, good electoral process, especially by the parties concerned, can make it happen this 2025.
Heureuse et merveilleuse année 2025 à tous et à chacun.
I wish you all a happy 2025. Power to the people. God bless Cameroon.
I wish you Happy New Year in 2025. I wouldn't betray you. May God lift up our country.
The election of a new president is scheduled for October this year in Cameroon.
May God bless Cameroon, like the leaders have all said there. Doc, we are almost going out, and we are talking about the economic challenges. And I see you've come out with some of the solutions that the nation is looking for. I read diaspora investment and dual nationality, the need for legal framework. Maybe I'll give you just 1 minute, please, to try as much as possible to tell us about this book, which you are launching on next Saturday.
Yes, I will like to tell Cameroonians that the Cameroon government is one which is lacking. Lacking in the sense that Cameroon is fighting its own citizens that have taken up foreign nationality. Foreign nationality simply means that once you take a nationality of another country, there are advantages that accumulate to your being in that country. And today, Cameroon as a nation has rejected this concept of dual nationality. At the time when the world is moving towards a global village, at the time when we are trying to cut down boundaries, Africa is talking about a common passport. European Union is talking about a common passport. Other nations like the United States have 154 countries which are visa-free. Cameroon is still thinking that is the lone champion that held strong with its nationality, and that is nationals. But then the controversy is very huge because the 1968 law on nationality recognizes that a Cameroonian should be he who is born to Cameroon by Cameroonian parents or who was born in Cameroon, which means that if you are born by foreigners in Cameroon, you are supposed to be a Cameroonian. But it is sad that Nigerians who are born in Cameroon are not given a Cameroonian nationality.
Without time, Doc, please.
Yes, so what I'm saying here is we are trying to talk on the economic aspect of dual nationality, education, technology, money or remittances, how they can help economic. Today we are talking of agriculture. The fifth generation agriculture is not found in Cameroon, but I believe many Cameroonian diasporas have the technology that can help this nation. Not forgetting, when we're talking of the national identity card, a lot of Cameroonians with the technology are found abroad, and some of them are having this dual nationality.
Thank you so much.
We can rescue a lot in our economy.
Thank you so much. We can rescue a lot in our economy, gentlemen. I'm sorry you will not have your last word. If you are just joining us, please, this was 360 Degrees. And we'll have the rebroadcast of this program on Wednesday at 11 p.m. Until we meet again next Saturday, we say a glorious New Year 2025 to all the fervent viewers of 360 Degrees. Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Same to you, and all the viewers of my Canal.